What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Now, I'm pretty stoked for today's video because I did a pretty awesome thing. And I'm just going to jump in and show you that we officially have Veromos 6-star awakened. So today, what I want to do is walk you through how I actually got Veromos in about 48 hours and how you can do the same thing. Now, I will say I know that I said this was going to be a free-to-play account, but I did get a gift card for an intermediate pack, so I grabbed a Forbidden Evolution scroll for 30 bucks. So total, I've put about 30 bucks into this game. And I'll probably throw another 30 into it just to keep things moving for crystals, so that I'm able to keep recording videos at a pretty rapid pace. But I am going to keep the total investment on this account under 100 bucks. But I wanted to lead in by telling you that because I was able to 6-star any monster instantly with that scroll. However, if you didn't have that scroll, it really shouldn't be a big deal because in my storage, just from doing the events, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 5-star Rainbow Mons and 3 max 4-star Rainbow Mons. So I could have evolved Ifrit pretty quickly, even if I didn't have that pack, but I thought I'd grab that pack, get the crystals, get the mana, and do a few things there. So how exactly did we get Ifrit in 48 hours? Well, the first thing that I want to point out is that we are leveling on Friday and Saturday. So in the old school game, you had to wait for special events for all of the halls to be open. The hall of light, dark, fire, water, wind. Well, now on Friday and Saturday, those are open for a full 48 hours. And so I basically, if you want the full story, actually had a flight from where I was staying for Christmas, and it was about a 5-hour flight where I basically was just grinding and grinding for essence, magic essence, light essence, dark essence, fire essence, all that good stuff to basically get all the materials to create Veromos. Now, the other thing that's important about Veromos is that if we go into the fusion info, he essentially requires 13 different monsters, right? Because you've got 4 monsters to fuse the wind vampire, 4 monsters to fuse the fire succubus, 4 monsters to fuse the wind Udine, and the dark yeti. Now, what I want to point out to you is that when you go through the challenges that are provided for you under the fuse monsters, you're going to get the wind inferno, you're going to get the wind minotaurus, you're going to get the water harpy, and I want to say there's one other guy you're going to get here. Let's take a peek. Yeah, and you're also going to get the water pixie, the wind harpoo, and the fire imp. So you're going to get a lot of the monsters that you need to make this happen. You get 6 of them right there, and you get the 7th, the Dark Yeti, just for finding a secret dungeon. So what's important is that while you are looking to build your Veromos, you're going to get the wind harpoo, the wind harpoo, the water pixie, and the fire imp. You want to follow these 3 steps for each of them in order. So you want to 3-star the fire imp, then 4-star the fire imp, then awaken the fire imp. And I recommend that you do it in that order because it allows you to progress through the challenges faster. And then repeat with the pixie, and then repeat with the harpoo. And then while you're doing that, once you have that, you'll get the wind inferno, the wind minotaurus, and the water harpy. And then you're going to grind the essence to awaken those, which eventually you'll find a secret dungeon doing that, and that gives you the dark yeti. Now, that means that we're still kind of struggling for a few different monsters. If we look at the fusion, that means we don't get everything that we need. But I want to point out that a couple of these you can get pretty easily. So the fire living armor you can get from one of the scenarios. So you're going to grind the scenario for the water living armor. You also get the fire salamander, which awakens to Krakadon from Feynman. So when you're farming Feynman, to level up all your monsters that you need to level up to get Veromos, you're naturally going to get the fire salamander. So just make sure that you don't feed him because he's a 3-star monster and helps you level up quicker. Make sure you save one. And then everybody else you're going to get from secret dungeons. So Hemos you're going to get from a secret dungeon. Garuda you're going to get from a secret dungeon. Ramira you're going to get from a secret dungeon. And Velfinodon you're going to get from a secret dungeon. Now, what I will tell you is that I don't recommend that you go for Veromos super early because by progressing into the game up to about level 25, you're going to get a bunch of mystical scrolls just from completing challenges, from completing the tutorials. And so if you're lucky, you may actually pick up some of those that you need. So I know that I was lucky and I had the Wind Lizard and I had the Water Harpy, so I didn't have to use those secret dungeons. But I just want to show you as a quick recap, in case you're watching this video standalone, and hey, just a shout out, that was somebody saying that they are enjoying our YouTube videos, so hey, love that, we're going to keep making them. So I just want to show you that if you go to channel 1050 inside the game, this is where people are basically grinding for dungeons, grinding for essence together in a community fashion where you can watch for those dungeons. So if you're looking for a dungeon, you can come to this channel and you can say looking for water bearman, oops, spell that right, bearman dungeon, please add, will delete after. And I recommend that you say that you will delete them after because people don't want to just have a bunch of random friends. So I type that out, I copy it, and then I paste it in there. So just to show you, for example, this guy just found the water or the fire fairy dungeon. So if that happens, you go to it, you hit the friend request button, and then I recommend typing in the chat that you say, hey, Jar, please add me. And type that a couple of times. And that's, don't go crazy, don't spam the chat, but every once in a while, you can drop that you're looking for a dungeon, you can add someone that you're looking for. I know that I had to get the Water Bearman dungeon, the Water Grim Reaper dungeon, and those took me a good 4 to 5 hours to get. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's easy or simple. It does take a while. You have to watch this channel quite a bit. The majority of the people on this channel are grinding the light and the dark dungeons, so you're going to see lots of that. But it's still worth it to watch. I am now personally on the lookout for the Fire Griffin dungeon as well because I'm going to use the Fire Griffin for Trial of Ascension, which we're going to get to soon. But yeah, so that's kind of the process. If you want to summon Vero in about 48 hours, you can absolutely do that. Like I said, I because I want to have time to both record the videos, create the videos, and I'm traveling for the holidays, I did buy an intermediate pack, a growth pack, and a beginner pack, which is about $90 in the game. But those are not necessary. I did that because I was really busy, and I wanted to be able to make these videos and not run out of time, basically, because I am traveling for the holidays. It's like December 28th when I'm recording this, so I'm literally just getting home from Christmas. But I'll show you one other thing here is that when you add someone who is who came up in the chat, so like we added this guy, Jarhead123, we added him. Because he accepted our friend request, we can now fight his dungeon, and we can get the Fire Fairy dungeon. So that's how you get Veromos in about 48 hours. I will show you. He's pretty decent for Giants B10. A lot of people, there's a lot of guides out there, and I've been doing some research as I'm building this guide myself, trying to make it as succinct and powerful as possible. There are a lot of guides that recommend that you go for Sigmaris first, and while I think that Sigmaris is a really powerful and important monster, and I have him on my main account, I think that you should go for Vero first, because the game gives you the challenges to work with. And what's really cool about Vero is that he is able to remove harmful effects from your monsters. So I'm taking you into GB10. We probably won't be able to clear it yet, and that's totally okay. But I just kind of want to show you where Vero comes into play here when we get to it. So one thing that he does that's really useful is continuous damage. So you see he just landed continuous damage to that big boss. Continuous damage does 5% of their total health every turn that they have continuous damage. And we're not going to survive this round because he's about to take out our Bella, that's who I'm going to 6-star next, to be completely honest. I'll probably do that later tonight. But I wanted to show you where he comes into play and how powerful he can be. So a really strong monster with the continuous damage. And then the other thing he has is the Stomp, which if we make it to the next level, I will show you. But basically what it does is it hits every enemy that you're fighting, and it has the chance to stun them. So let's see if he'll do it real quick so I can show you. Don't get froze, don't get froze, don't get killed. Okay, he got killed. That's okay. I knew we weren't going to be able to clear GB10, so let's just pop on out of here. And I'll show you what this looks like in GB7, just so you can kind of get a sense for what's going on here. But that other skill is the Stomp skill, and super, super powerful for stunning the enemies. So, of course, he's not going to use it. And you'll notice that he took 2 turns, and that's because we have him on Violent Runes, and we're going to talk about why and how I did that in just a second as well. So, come on, Vero. Sometimes his AI isn't in the game, so to speak. And there you go, the Super Crush. I keep calling it Stomp, but it's Crush. And you can see it stuns the enemies. So really, really useful skill to have. I'm going to recommend that you get your Vero skilled up pretty quickly as well. He's really useful to have skilled up. And so once you fuse your Vero, if you've done everything in order, so again, I want to stress how important this is, and I'll go back and show you after we clear up this dungeon here, but I want to stress how important it is that you go in order of the challenge, that you get the Imp, the Pixie, and the Harpoo, that you level them up, that you awaken them in that order. Then you find a secret dungeon, then you fuse each of the 4-star monsters that you need, because if you don't, when you summon or awaken, or I keep saying summon and awaken, but when you fuse your Vero, if you fuse him and you haven't completed all the previous steps, you won't get a set of Violent Runes. Now, the Violent Runes that you get for Vero are actually pretty darn good. They're going to give him decent attack, decent accuracy, decent HP. It's going to put him on speed HP, which is really, really useful, and what I would recommend for most beginners in the game. So just like that, you can see he kind of helps us advance through. We're completing Giants B7 in about a minute and a half, which is pretty good. We'll get to GB10 in the next couple of days by farming the Giants to get some better runes. But the last thing that I want to show you here is that when you complete this challenge, which again, you want to go in order, because if you don't, you won't actually unlock the Fuse Ifrit achievement. You get 6 Violent Runes for doing that. And the first thing I did was I took those runes and I assigned them to Vero. Now, I was a little low on mana, so I wanted to get them all to +9, which I didn't do completely. This one's still at +8, but I'd recommend getting them to at least +9, if not +12, just to get the max out on those subsets. And then you end up with a Vero that's kind of ready to go in the game. He's level, he's 6-star max. He's easily going to get to level 40 in the next couple of days. He's got decent runes. He's ready to go. And he's going to be a really useful asset when we get into the Trial of Ascension. So you can see right here, when we look at this, I've got, essentially all the monsters that I need, with the exception of 1 Rainbow Mon, to create my next 6-star monster, which is going to be Bella. So I will probably either tonight or tomorrow create that 6-star Bella. And I just wanted to show you one other thing, that by doing this, we kind of grinded up several levels, and we went from, what were we in? I want to say we were around level 21, 22 in the last video. And we now have gotten some crystals. We got some 4-star Rainbow Mon, which are really useful for fusing Ifrit. And we got some other 4-star Rainbow Mon, which were useful for fusing Ifrit as well. So we're just going to keep grinding through the game. We've got our Vero, and our next step, if you're kind of looking forward to the next step, is how to, or we're actually going to grind the Giant's Dungeon for a while to get some runes to kind of amp up the power of all of our monsters, and then we are going to take them on. One other thing that I did that I do want to mention, just because this is a how-to series, is I awakened a Tark, and I'm starting to level him up as well, because he can be a really powerful asset in the dungeons if you don't have Sigmaris. He's a great damage dealer, and his third skill, Group Hunt, performs a cooperative attack with 2 allies. So basically, him and 2 monsters use their first skill against the enemy, and that ends up with a really powerful attack that can have a lot of different effects to it. So anyway, we're going to title this video how to create, or how to get Vero in 48 hours, how to fuse Vero in 48 hours, because that's essentially what I did. Obviously, there was a little pre-work kind of getting us to level 20 first, having some of those mystical scrolls, but in theory, you could do this whole thing in 48 hours. You would definitely need to hustle to get some secret dungeons. You would definitely need to hustle to get all of the awakening material. You get a lot of awakening material from the challenge progression, which is, again, one more reason that it's so important to go in order. But yeah, this is how to fuse Vero in 48 hours. This is day 6 and 7 in one video, and I will be back tomorrow with another video on how to crush it in our Summoner's War progression.